For our project, we chose to study the terrestrial planets. There are 4 terrestrial planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, about 36 million miles from the Sun. Venus is about 67 million miles from the Sun. Earth is about 93 million miles from the Sun, and Mars is about 141 million miles from the Sun. So why are these terrestrial planets? A terrestrial planet, also referred to as a rocky planet, is defined as a planet that is composed primarily of silicate rocks or metals. In our solar system, the terrestrial planets are the ones closest to the Sun. All 4 terrestrial planets have a very similar structure they are made of, which includes a solid inner core, liquid outer core, a mantle, and a crust with an atmosphere. They all have alike geographical features such as volcanoes, craters, etc. Life on terrestrial planets. The only terrestrial planet that has life as we know it is Earth. It is believed that the conditions on Mars would be the most possible other planet to contain life. It may have had life there in the past, and there might still be life there today. On the other hand, Mercury and Venus have far too harsh of conditions to sustain life.
Mercury. The first of the terrestrial planets is Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system and the closest to the Sun. First, let's look at some of the facts about Mercury. Facts about Mercury. The size of Mercury is Mercury has a 1,500 mile radius. The age is about roughly 4.5 billion years old. Some of the features: Mercury consists of 3 different types of surfaces, including the smooth plains, intercrater plains, which alone takes up about 70% of the surface, and finally the rugged highlands. Density. Mercury has about 594 kilograms over meters cubed. The atmosphere of Mercury has a very thin atmosphere that most likely consists of oxygen, sodium, and hydrogen. Life on Mercury. Scientists believe there has never been life on Mercury, and there never will be life on Mercury. This is due to the extreme conditions and temperature, with some parts of the planet being exposed to 700 Kelvin and some never receiving sunlight, and are also cold as deep space. Orbit of Mercury. The orbital period of Mercury is 88 Earth days, and the length of one day on Mercury is nearly 59 Earth days. Mercury has something known as the 3-to-2 spin orbital renaissance, which means for every 2 orbits of Mercury around the Sun, it rotates 3 times on its axis.
Venus. Venus is known as a sister planet to Earth because it is nearly the exact same size as Earth is. Venus is the second closest planet in our solar system to the Sun. Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system with a temperature of 864 degrees Fahrenheit. Its size is around 3,760 miles in radius. Some of the features of Venus include it is somewhat smooth, but also has a lot of canyons, volcanoes, valleys, and craters. It has a density of 5.24 grams over centimeters cubed. In the atmosphere, Venus has a very thick atmosphere and is about 90 times more massive than Earth's atmosphere. The atmosphere has 96% carbon dioxide with 3% nitrogen and very little water vapor. Venus clouds and volcanoes. Venus is completely and always covered in clouds and always will be. These clouds are what give the planet the brown tint and what makes the surface look tan when on Earth the surface would look gray. Venus is nearly covered in volcanoes on the surface. The longest volcano measures at 4,000 miles long, and the most recent active volcano may be as recent as 25 million years old. The orbit of Venus. Venus has an orbital period of 225 Earth days, and one day on Venus is 243 Earth days long, which means the days are longer than the years on Venus.
Earth. Earth is what is better known as the home for us. It is the 3rd closest planet to the Sun and the only planet to our knowing that has the ability to sustain life as we know it. The size of the Earth has a radius of 3,959 miles. The density is 5.5 grams over centimeters cubed. Features: the Earth has oceans, rivers, lakes, valleys, mountains, plains, volcanoes, hills, glaciers, plateaus, and islands. The atmosphere of Earth's atmosphere consists of a mixture of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and about 1% of other gases. The age of the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Earth's climate. The average temperature on Earth is 61 degrees Fahrenheit. This can vary where on the Earth you are during what position of the orbit tilt the Earth is at. Seasons. There are 4 seasons on Earth. There is summer, fall, winter, and spring. Depending on where you are located at on the Earth, these seasons will be variant as to how harsh or mild they are. Earth's orbit. The orbit period is 364 days and 1/4 day. Earth's rotation. Earth rotates one time in 24 hours, and the axis tilt is 23 degrees.
Finally, Mars. Mars is the 4th closest planet to the Sun and is the most possible other planet to be able to sustain life as we know it. Mars has a radius of 2,100 miles. It is 4.5 billion years old. Mars has a density of 3.93 grams over centimeters cubed. Some of the features of Mars include craters, dust devil tracks, sand dunes, volcanoes, possible ancient rivers, and a rocky terrain. The poles of Mars are actually polar caps. Mars' atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide, 3% nitrogen, and 2% other gases. Their atmosphere is 1% the size of Earth's, and for that reason it does not protect the planet from the sun's radiation or retain heat on the surface, which explains why the surface is extremely cold. Mars does not currently sustain life, but it could have at one time and possibly once had water on Mars. The temperature on Mars is below freezing, which would explain why it would be difficult to sustain life on Mars. We have just sent a rover onto Mars a few years ago to search for water on Mars. There is actually a space expedition to send humans onto Mars on a one-way trip to colonize Mars coming in the near future. Mars has an orbital period of 687 Earth days, a rotation of 24 hours and 39